hopefully be good. I'll have the gameplay, yep, the audio, that should be good as well. Do you wanna go here, load, and then we go all the way here. So where's the, let's see. I want to make sure that everything's all good and sorted, but where? What is this game? What is this? Oh, that. Oh, it's just porn. Okay, never mind. Yeah, no, that's just porn. Like I should have expected that with what the name of the game was, but whatever. For those wondering, the game's called Magic Coochie 3. Of course, like I'm censoring what the word is, but like you know what it is. That's so crazy though. Like first thing is just bare breast. Like what was going on. There you go. Okay, the audio works, the game works, everything's good. Anyways, yeah, what a way to greet people. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well. Back at it again with more Steins. Not gonna lie, I couldn't wait to continue playing, so I just immediately got back. Well, not immediately, excuse me. After yesterday's stream, I had something to do, and then I didn't have enough time to continue streaming that day, so I woke up today, had some breakfast, and now I'm ready to keep going, ready to keep playing. Really excited, really excited. But yeah, let me get the guide up so I can see where. Yep, we're on ending number 3. This one's interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say, well, why didn't I just do this one? Yeah, what? Wait, nah. I'm just gonna do this like this. Yeah. What's the point of? Okay, whatever. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. So it would be this one and then this one. But I'm gonna do this one first. Yeah, okay. I get it. I get it. So I guess I would have to start a new game. Okay. Yeah, so I gotta go to closed epigraph. Sorry, I'm just looking at where I need to go. Right here. Should be here. Go here, and then it should be the phone call. Yeah. So with where's the guide at? Yes, there you go. Anyways, so that immediately completely closes off a route. No more Gehenna Stigma, no more Vega and Altair. We are now on the other path, and it all stems from this one choice: turning off your phone or not. We just unlocked 3 other endings because we did this. It's insane. It's insane. But yeah, so before I continue, I hope y'all are doing well. I know I've been kind of weird. I haven't introduced myself properly, nor have I talked to you guys, but If you I gotta say this. If you're a fan of the channel, then I recommend watching the latest video I put out like a day or two ago, or something like that. It's on Suzume 2022 movie Suzume, and if you like the movie or if you never heard of it, I'd appreciate if you gave it a watch. But what's it called? Yeah. That aside, as for what we were doing on the last stream, I wanted to talk about Vega and Altair because I like the ending. I like the ending a lot because of what it stands for Okabe as a character and the characters in general. Like, with Mayuri, with Suzuha, with Daru, and Maho, and Dr. Leskinen even. Like, that route has some of the best character moments in the game. Again, like with Daru, like I was saying in the Steins video. Daru's best moment in the series comes from this route, and it comes from this game. Like, Vega and Altair shows him at his best because of his friendship that he's fostered with Maho. Because even though he's a pervert, like wholeheartedly a pervert, no excusing that, he's still a good dude. Like, at the end of the day, right? He's never serious. Daru isn't a serious character until he has to lock in. And with Suzuha having to live with him now, and with Okabe taking a back seat to the lab, Daru was forced into this position. And, inherently it's not really fair to him because Okabe's the leader of the lab. That's just plain and simple, and Daru's perfectly fine with that role. But just like him accepting it and basically just like doing the best that he can, I respect it. I respect it. As cringy and annoying as he can be, I still respect what he does for the lab. He is an important and crucial part of the lab, and so it's on display in that ending. It's really important. And Maho being, you inherently would think like, oh, she's the Kurisu replacement, but she's not. She will never be Kurisu, and that's great. I love that she will never be Kurisu because of the fact that, like, Maho's her own individual. She has to find her way to live outside of Kurisu's shadow and become her own person, like, at the end of the day, like, she's Maho Hiyajo, and that's who we want her to be, not Kurisu Jr. And she definitely shows that in this game. She's my favorite character in the series for a reason, right? She's awesome. But, that's also in part, like, we have Okabe, we have Mayuri and Suzuha. Like, the rooftop scene's definitely a highlight of this game every time. What I don't like, though, is the Yuki twist. I don't like the Yuki twist. I think it's super reductive for Kaguri and super reductive for Yuki as a character, because, like, we just lost the character. We legit just lost an interesting character because of the brainwashing. And it's not Kaguri's fault at the end of the day. Like, even though she did do it, she's severely, impaired because of the brainwashing. It's out of her control. But I feel like narratively, like, I don't like it. I would rather Yuki be her own character and Kaguri be separate. Because like the ending explained, Yuki, let me try to explain it. Kaguri, the motorcycle girl, Mayuri's daughter, she got cosmetic surgery to look like Yuki. That's why they never showed her face in that route. And Yuki is supposed to be Daru's wife. Yuki Imane is a real person. She is a real character. But she's not here. She isn't meant to be here until a year later. Kaguri knows that because she's a time traveler, and inherently, from what I understood it, I might be wrong, but Professor Leskinen pulls some strings so that she stays. Excuse me. She stays abroad longer, so that their machinations can keep going. Like, they can keep trying to get the time machine, and Kaguri can replace Yuki for a little bit. But I don't like that. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't like that twist, because again, it gets rid of a character, and I just feel like it's so, like, couldn't this twist have been done in another way? Or better yet, did it even need to exist? Is Kaguri being Yuki really that like, oh shoot, that explains so much? It doesn't. All it explains is that like Yuki got information from the lab because she was always there. Like that's fine. That makes sense. But like, couldn't Kaguri have done the same if she was already spying on them with the motorcycle suit? It just feels like such a roundabout way to be like, why are you doing this? I guess inherently Kaguri did it because like it would be a way to get closer to her mom without, you know, being Kaguri. Like she was Yuki and they were hanging out all the time. But it's also like, all right, man. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It just feels so weird and pointless. I'm not gonna hate on the choice too much because there is some merit to it, but I'm not a fan of it, and it kind of brings down the ending a little bit for me. But also, it's just like, I love the ending regardless. Vega and Altair is a good ending, but I can't sit here and act like that that plot point isn't contingent or not contingent contentious for me. It's just such a weird thing that exists, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. But yeah, besides that, Vega and Altair is really good, and like I mentioned in the last stream, which almost went for 4 hours, longest one I think for this game, if I remember correctly. Let me see. No, actually, sorry, just short, 4 minutes short of being the longest for this playthrough that I'm doing right now. But nothing inherently will beat the stream I did for Mahoya for Witch on the Holy Night. That was almost 10 hours long. So I think we still got a ways to go. But nah, yeah, like the longest for Steins Gate in general is 4 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah, 4 hours and 30 minutes, and it was Steins Gate, but my favorite characters talking. I forgot what this stream was, like what game it was. Oh, it was Suzuha's route. Never mind. Okay. But yeah, no. We're on stream 11 now, and we have two endings already. Which, granted, I don't think by this point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. By stream 13 of original Steins Gate, we got our first ending. Yeah, like it's significantly, like this game is shorter. Inherently the game is shorter because of the way that it's made. And if you never played this game before, the endings are laid out in a specific way, like of how you're meant to play them. And I played them the wrong way, but that was by design, because I wanted to show you guys the bad ending first before showing you all one of the best endings in the game, because they just so happen to be on the same route. But the way you're supposed to play it is the where we're at now, where you're supposed to go down this route first and then go down the other route that we did. I want to show you all something so cool, but I can't show you all yet until we get way further. So we're just gonna have to keep playing. But yeah, I'm really excited to continue. Some of my favorite endings are on this route, so we'll get to see. But don't expect the route to be the same. This one choice again changes so much, so just be prepared for that. But inherently also don't expect me to get another ending soon. Probably like 2 streams from now, maybe even like, what's it called, a stream later, 2 streams later. We'll see how long I go for, but it all depends on how long I play for. But yeah, enough rambling. We've been talking for like 30 minutes now, so back to more Steins Gate 0. Let's do it. The phone went silent. I slowly stood up. Oh, do I have the audio playing? Make sure that, yeah, we do. Okay. I slowly stood up. If Lukaku saw me like this, he'd worry. I should get out of here. I staggered a little, but I could walk. I felt very thirsty. I gulped down an entire bottle of mineral water and caught my breath. There was still a little time before my meeting. I wanted to get some air up here and recover a little. I looked down over the scenery below the overpass. The city was in the Christmas spirit. The atmosphere was charged with excitement. It was the exact opposite of me. I took more deep breaths. I still felt like I wanted to throw up. I was getting a headache too. If I went to Dr. Leskinen like this, I'm sure he'd worry. I still don't understand, like, how would you get the true ending if it's like that? Doesn't make sense. Oh, I forgot this brief scene happens. Sorry, let me stop that real quick. I'm checking the guide real quick. Okay, I see. So yeah. Okay. Never mind, that makes sense then. I guess it's like that route then. Anyway, so let's see. Yeah, I think I already read this part. And then I realized that the two girls coming up the stairs were looking at me. I peered into the late afternoon darkness to try and make out their faces. One of them, the girl with the short haircut, waved.
Oh, Mayuri no tomodachi no.
They were Mayuri's friends and fellow cosplayers. I know, so I know I've already read this. Yeah, I know I've already read this. Should I even read it? Yeah. No, no. Let me skip. Yeah. Oh, no. Wait. Okay. I shouldn't have skipped. I knew something was wrong. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me go back. We already read this. Okay. They were Mayuri's friends and fellow cosplayers. Hell no, bro. Hell no. Honestly, you know what? No, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna go back to the choice we just made since it's not too far off. I'm gonna make the choice again. And we're just gonna keep going. Power you off. Skip. There you go.
Oh, Mayuri no tomodachi no.
There you go. I think their cosplay names were Kaede and Fubuki. I didn't know their real names. Which was Kaede and which was Fubuki again?
Oh, 大丈夫.
No, you're not. If I made them worry here and they talked to Mayuri, it would cause a big fuss. I didn't want her to worry about me when she didn't have to. I shouldn't have come back to Akihabara anyway. I ran into people I knew just walking through town. I should have gone toward Kanda when I left the shrine.
Okarin-san っていつもなんだか辛そうに見えます。
そうか。
Yeah, this is mostly the same.
そうだよ。
ふぶきちゃん。
そんなオカリンさんを見てるマユシーも辛そうで、私もオカリンさんとマユシーのことを見てると泣きそうになって。
Yep.
私何言ってんだろう。
I go hold you home, girl. You're trauma dumping like crazy right now. This Fubuki girl must really care about Mayuri. She does. Basically best friends besides like Lukaku and Ferris. Felt a little better after hearing that.
オカリンさんの好きな人って誰ですか?
The girl I like. An image of Kurisu appeared in the corner of my eye again. The feeling in my hands when I took her life came back. No, calm down.
オカリンさん、ごめんなさい。失礼なこと聞いちゃって。私。
There you go. The sky was red-black, dotted with columns of thick black smoke. There was so much rubble I couldn't find a place to stand. Screams, gunshots, and the stench. Everyone in this world knew what the smell was. It was the smell of burning. Houses, buildings, cars, motorcycles, trees, grass, and humans. It was the smell of all of them burning together. Something thin and black poked through between piles of rubble. It was a hand. The hand, unmoving, stretched upward toward the sky. There you go. Excuse me, sorry. No, that wasn't the only one. Everywhere I looked, I saw hands, legs, and heads. Parts of what were once human beings were strewn across the ground. I heard a distant gunshot, a shout, silence. Nothing changed. Just one more body lying on the ground. The world was ending. And at last people understood. This wasn't the afterlife. This was the real world. Hell. Yes, that's what this was. This was hell. Man, you guys are not ready for this chapter. Oh my goodness. A stray sheep. The world twisted and warped. I felt horribly dizzy. Sometimes my vision would blur for no reason, but this was nothing like that. It was like my mind itself was being wrung apart. Like the world itself was changing. Deja vu. I knew this feeling. This was... Reading Steiner. At last, the color came back to my vision. All the shouts of the pedestrians and the noise of the passing cars came flooding in at once.
オカリンさん、大丈夫ですか？汗すごいですけど。気分でも悪いんですか？
There you go.
いや
Fubuki and Kaide. The two of them are still in front of me. They looked worried. Had I just gotten dizzy for a moment?
本当に大丈夫だよ。心配してくれてありがとう。
それじゃあ私たち行きますね。
Okay, I guess she just believes him that quickly, but alright. Welcome to the poop deli. Welcome to the poop deli. We got a lot of poop. It's all about the poop here. It's all about the poop deli. Welcome to the poop poop. Poop 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 poop. There you go. Sorry. Can I just... Welcome to the poop deli. We got a lot of poop here. Alright.
今度のパーティー楽しみにしてます。
They said their goodbyes and walked towards the station. I watched them go, only halfway paying attention. What was that? None of the passerby noticed me standing there. They were all experiencing time sequentially, as one connected moment after another. But I knew what I just saw. That's right. I was the one person who understood. That feeling was reading Steiner, which meant that the world line had changed. I shook my head and tried to get the idea out of my mind. It was impossible. The world line could only change if someone had altered the past. I'd only ever seen the world line changes after I sent emails to the phone wave named subject to change. But I destroyed the phone wave so that it could never happen again. I sacrificed Kurisu for it. But then who did this? And how? What if someone had made a device identical to the phone wave? Yep. Mayuri. I need to see if Mayuri's safe. I'll call her right now. Alright, let me see. Nandeska. Where's... Okay, yeah, it's not today. Okay, ignore the call. Mayuri, Amadeus. Alright. I picked her name out the contact list on my phone and dialed. I could hear the call sound in my ear, but there was no sign of her picking her up. Or picking up. 7 seconds. 8. 9. Each second made the fear worse. I felt cold sweat drip down my back. 12 seconds. 13. 14 seconds. I kept calling and praying anyway. Eventually, after a minute of ringing, the electronic sound suddenly cut off. Oh, she committed to waiting around. Good lord. The relaxed, easygoing voice I heard most definitely belonged to my ear.
心配したぞ。ずっと鳴らしているのに出なかったから。
あ、ごめんね。電話カバンの中に入れてたから。
Not at all. Nothing happened at all.
もしかして何か急な用事だった？
いや、気にしなくていい。少し不安になっただけだ。
不安？
今どこだ？誰かと一緒か？
これからバイトだよ。
何時まで
？8時過ぎぐらいまで。
そうか。
そうか。
わかった。
オカリ、遊びに来てくれるの？
いや、今日は用事があってな。無理なんだ。
バイトが終わったらラボにも顔を出すつもりだよ。
わかった。もし行けるようだったらそこで合流して一緒に帰ろう。
本当？今日は珍しいね。
じゃあバイト頑張れよ。
Bye bye, Johnny. I hung up. My Yuri was safe, which meant that the world line change probably had nothing to do with her. Not that I could let my guard down. Or maybe that was just a daydream, and there was no world line change at all. Oh my gosh. It seemed awfully realistic for that to be the case, though. Just to be safe, I turned on my phone again. The icon was still there, in the same place it had been the last several times I used it. I felt a little hesitation, especially after what happened. Could I really contact her after that? But I decided that it was important to see what was going on first, so I tapped the icon.
何？ けたことでもあった？
Amadeus Curtis's voice is the same as ever.
怒ってないのか？
怒る？どうして？
だってさっき話している途中で切ってしまっただろ。だから
それについてはさっき謝ってもらったから。私は一度許したことをいつまでもぐちぐち言う人間じゃない。
さっき謝った？
ええ、かけ直してきたじゃない。
かけ直した？俺が？
ほんの7分43秒前のことを忘れちゃったの？
俺が謝ったのか？お前に？
大丈夫？
Amadeus Curtis was evidently telling the truth. She didn't look like she was lying, at least.
何かあったの？さっきとは別人みたいな顔してるけど。
いや、平気だ。
His favorite line, bro. No, I'm fine. I didn't remember that. I remember turning off the phone, but I didn't remember anything about calling her. The Amadeus Curtis back after that. The old me would have insisted that I was right and that she was mistaken. But now, I wasn't sure. After all the different... Excuse me. Oh wow, okay. After all the different paths I experienced, and all the sadness and pain I'd gone through, even 6 months later, I was still exhausted. What had happened? What had really happened? And what hadn't? What was right and what was wrong? I wasn't sure anymore. I just didn't want to think about it anymore. The past, the future, the fate of the world. I wanted nothing to do with any of it.
ずいぶん具合が悪そう。誰か知り合いに連絡するなり、どこかで休むなりした方がいいんじゃない？岡部？
なあ、クリス。一つ。さっき電話した後、俺が何をしようとしていたか分かるか？
レスキネン教授と真帆先輩とこの後待ち合わせでしょ？私について報告する予定じゃない。
Evidently, my memories matched hers in that regard.
真帆先輩にあんたのことをあらかじめ伝えておきましょうか？
本当に大丈夫だ。心配かけてすまない。
あんまり無理しないでよ。あんたと最後に話したのが私でしたなんて結果になるのはごめんだからね。
I chuckled bitterly and ended the conversation. I called Daru too, just in case. And evidently I really was on my way to see Professor and Maho. He also told me that almost all the events of the last few days matched my memory of them. Which meant that even if the world light had changed, nothing had changed nearby, where I could have seen it. There was no problem. Or at least, it shouldn't have been a problem. It was possible that the moment of dizziness was just a result of mental illness. Experiencing the same sensations brought up on my past trauma and caused my memories to get confused. Maybe that was it. The phone wave didn't exist, so there was no way the past could have changed. No. You know. That's right. That was all. I kept telling myself this as I went to see the professor. I wonder if this is the same, because if it is, I'll just skip it, but... I met with the professor and Maho in a hotel
それじ
room.
ゃあ今のところエムデウスとのコミュニケーションはうまくいっているということでいいんだね、リンタロウ。
ええ、 会話に齟齬が出ることもありませんし。
ちなみに聞きたいんだが、クリスとの距離感はどうかな？
距離感というとどういうことでしょう？
話しているうちに親しくなってきているかどうかということだよ。
それは初めて会話した時に比べれば多少は。
多少？かなりの間違いじゃない？私だってクリスと話してるんだからそれくらいわかるわよ。あの子最初は8回もイルスを使われたって怒っていたほどなのに今じゃすっかりフレンドリーになっているもの。それだけ距離が縮まったということでしょ。
そうですか。それは喜ばしい。
Let's gonna see the video that Maho's wins.
私は期待しているんだよ。彼女が君に対して友情を、もっと言えば恋愛感情を持ってくれないかとね。
恋愛感情？
そんな声を上げることもないだろ
でもその AI ですよ。
AI だからだよ。
What did he mean?
彼女にだって感情はあっただろう。
いやだけどそれはあくまでもプログラム上のことで。
でもそれは人間の脳だって同じことじゃないか。
He was right. The brain ran on electrical signals, so you could say it had the same structure.
今は機械に感情があるかないかなんていう命題はもはや時代遅れだよ。機械にだって感情はある。第一エメデウスは私たち人間の脳を再現すべく作っているんだ。構造が同じでプロセスが同じならその結果生み出されるものも同じなはずだろう。ならば彼女だって恋をする可能性は十分にある。いや、ぜひしてもらいたいと思っている。
Listen, you're a sick man. Amadeus, falling in
おっと、
love.
こんなことを言っては魔法に恨まれてしまうかな。
教授までクリスみたいなことを言わないでください。
冗談だよ、冗談。魔法は怒ると怖いから気をつけた方がいい。
それはもう分かってます。
ちょっと聞こえてますよ。
おお、そういえば私はジュリーに連絡をしなければならないんだった。リタロ、少し失礼するよ。
Last kid in, man. Last kid in. What a smooth criminal, huh? The professor quickly left the room. He ran away, didn't he? Maho.
まったくクリスといい教授といい、どうして何でもかんでもすぐに色恋沙汰に結びつけたがるのかしら。
まったくだな。
Of course, that was always the type of girl she was.
あ、そうだ、岡部さん、ちょっと聞きたいんだけど、あの子がクリスが好きな言葉って何か知ってる？
言葉？
数字でも何でもいいの。何かこうキーになりそうなものに心当たりないかしら。
クリスが設定したパスワードを破ろうとでも？
よくわかったわね。
Well, yeah, you made it really obvious. He's
それ
right.
ってあいつの研究室の PC か何かの？
ううん、彼女の私物、家にあったノート PC よ。
そんなものどうして君が？
形見分けでね、譲ってもらったの、クリスのお母さんに。 それで中身を確かめたいからパスを解除する方法を探しているの。あなたなら知ってるんじゃないかと思って。
パスがかかってるということは見られると困るものなんじゃないのか？
それはそうだけど、でも彼女アマデウスのクリスをより本物に近づけるためにはその中のデータも解析した方がいいでしょ。もちろん私自身はなるべくプライバシーに関わることは見ないようにするつもりよ。
I knew what she was trying to say. She might have had some kind of diary on her computer which described what she had been doing during her time here. But
悪いけど心当たりはない。
何も。
ああ、それに知っていたとしてもやっぱり俺は教えないと思う。
人には知られたくないことがあるから。
特に PC の中身なんていうのは今やプライバシーの塊みたいなものだからな。
privacy. Daru talked about that all the time. He's always wondering if there was a way to automatically wipe a computer's hard drive if you died in an accident. Oh, Lord knows he wants that. That's crazy. Of course, what Daru didn't want anyone to see was probably very different than what was on Karisa's computer. Beyond that, it was the same idea, which granted sounds crazy, but it's true. She seemed really interested in the contents of the hard drive, but she didn't say anything else.
それじゃあ俺はこれで。
I was a little worried about my Yuri too. Moshi mosh. Let's see who sent me a message. Alright, let me see if I can do a good Daru. It's hard because like I'm thinking of just immediately going to the Japanese one, but Nene Okarin, like something like that. But like anyways, hey Okarin, what's the best color for a school swimsuit? What the hell are you talking about? Who gives a crap? And white definitely. That's crazy. I kind of want to pick this one. I kind of want to pick this one. I'm not gonna lie. Why not? White definitely. I see. Excellent choice. Very few normals would pick a white school swimsuit. You might be more of a pervert than I thought. I know, right? Actually, I just picked the color randomly. Nice, so great. I'm taking that advice. Thank you. Stop with the commentary. That's adorable. As perverted as it is, that's kind of funny. I was a little worried about my Yuri too. I got up and went to leave. Maho. And then I saw a small ornament that was decorating the door. You know what
そういえ
that
ば
means.
もうすぐクリスマスか。
I remember how excited my Yuri was.
ヒアジョーさんはクリスマスもこっちにいるのか？
ええ、こっちでまだやることもあるから。
誰かと過ごしたりは？
え？
ああ、いや、ほら、海外のクリスマスっていうと友達みんなで楽しくパーティーでもするってイメージだろ？
残念だけどそういう予定はないわ。それにアメリカやヨーロッパじゃクリスマスにパーティーなんてやらないものよ。
That's a lie.
そうなのか？
That's a wholehearted lie. You're talking about Americans, Europeans don't have Christmas parties. That is a lie. What is she talking about?
彼らにとってクリスマスは神聖な日でしょ。だから家族と一緒に過ごすのが普通よ。その分大晦日は大騒ぎするけれどね。
Nah, Maho's lying, bro. She's lying like crazy. I thought I heard something about that on TV or somewhere.
こっちには家族もいないからどっちにしても一人ということに変わりはないんだけどね。
It's not too proud of that.
だからって寂しいと思ってるわけじゃないわよ。誤解しないでね。
Or so she said, but being alone on Christmas is. Or so she said, but being all alone on Christmas in a bustling town is probably pretty lonely. Of course, she'd probably get mad if I told her that, so I didn't. There you go. So did you not invite her? Like what? When I finished talking to the professor, I went to the lab. I confirmed on the phone that my ear was just fine, but I wanted to see her for myself. I could see from the outside of the lab, the lights in the lab were on. I ran upstairs to get away from the cold and opened the door. Moshi mosh.
マユリいるか
I felt a small impact on my chest when I opened the door. Oh, oh, Lukaku, you sweetheart.
いえ僕の方こそごめんなさい
Evidently, he was just about to leave. Let me see. Lukaku looked up at me apologetic. For some reason, he was blushing a little bit because he likes you, man. He likes you. Lukaku's so sweet. Only Dara and Lukaku were in the room. There was no sign of my hero or
よ
Suzuha.
かったもう少し早く帰っていたら岡部さんと入れ違いになっているところでした
So cute. He's so cute, man. Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second. I just. Yep. The monkey.
もしかして俺を待っていたのか
はいと言っても別に大した用があったわけじゃないんです差し入れを持ってきただけで
おまんじゅうもらったよ
Alright. Hold on. Let me see. Dara had already eaten about half the box.
いただき物ですから皆さんでどうぞ
そうかありがとう
つうかルカシ時間大丈夫なん
あ
There you go. Let me see. There you go. Lukaku looked up at the clock and started to fidget.
実はこの後お家にお客さんが来ることになってるんです
客ルカ子のか
いえ父のお客さんですなぜか僕にも同席してほしいと言われまして父は普段同じ趣味を持った人を呼んで長い時間話し込んだりするんです難しい話ばかりで僕にはよく理解できないので普段はお茶を出すぐらいしかしないんですけどどうして同席してほしいと言われたのか
難しい話って宗教とかそっち系の話か
Lukaku's family ran the Yanabayashi Shrine, one of the oldest in Akihabara.
そういうわけではないみたいなんですけどこの前のお客さんとは有明がどうとか晴海の頃はどうとかそういうお話をしてました
晴海有明
Weren't those places?
さすがルカシのパパ恐ろしい子
岡部さんや橋田さんはわかるんですか
まあなんとなくはなでもその話はまた今度だ客が来るなら早く帰った方がいい
それじゃあ僕はこれでまた来ますね
Lukaku's so adorable. Oh my gosh. He bowed deeply and disappeared into the door. I watched him go and then sat down on the sofa.
前よりは
メイクインじゃね？今日は来てないよ。
Then I guess I have to wait a little bit. Where should I go get her?
そういえばオカリン、さっきの電話だけどさ、あれ、なんだったん？
He was probably talking about the phone call I placed to him.
あれは
It's not that. He was probably talking about the phone call I placed to him before I went to see the professor.
気にしないでくれ。多分俺の勘違いだ。
そうなん？だったらいいけどさ。
I remember the strange sensation I experienced. I wonder if it was a world line jump, but several hours had passed and nothing had changed. Actually, I wasn't even sure if I really experienced it anymore.
それにしてもハルミとはさすがはルカシのパパ。
There you go. Memories were like that. There you go. Especially for me.
ベテラン戦士っすな。
戦士がどうしたって？
Suza got back before my
ル
ear
カ兄
did.
さんのお父さんって戦士なの？
What did she just realize? We didn't even get to see much of Lukaku in the other route. That's crazy. Shout out that. There you go. Oh, he definitely is. How come he gets to be brother when I'm stuck with being Uncle Okarin? Yeah, because you're Unc, bro. What are you talking about?
そうだお。それも戦士の中の戦士、歴戦のつわものと言っても過言じゃないのだぜ。
そうなんだ。でもルカ兄さんの家って確か神職だと聞いたけど。ああ、そうか。神職の人も昔は兵士だったって言うよね。
She convinced herself.
確かにルカ兄さんはすごかったし納得だ。
Amazing. What was amazing? I just pretend I never heard that. Awkward bro. I still feel awkward looking at Susan. I avoided coming to the lab mostly to avoid seeing her.
オカリンおじさん、そんな顔しないでよ。
Poor Susan. Poor Susan. Oh man, I feel so bad for her. Evidently, she could read my thoughts just from the look on my face. She seemed upset.
私のことを避けてるのは分かってるからさ。
Yeah, it's not hard to tell, unfortunately. There you go.
お前が悪いわけじゃないんだけどな。
But it's still happening. It's still happening, man.
つうか鈴葉、今日もこんな時間まで何してたん？
Oh, you know, this and that.
もしかしてどこかの男とデートとか？いけません。そんなどこの誰とも知らない男とのお付き合いなんてお父さんは許しませんよ。
Some random guy,
違う
Alright,
よ。
man.
そんなんじゃない。
本当に？
I thought it was a joke, but evidently he was serious about it. His tone was far less joking than usual. Yeah, pervert, weirdo. It must be hard being a dad. Yeah, I
本当
can't
だ
even
って。
imagine.
だったら父さんの目を見て言いなさい。
父さんがそれ言う？
Yeah, it
ど
does. And
どういう意味なんそれ？
what does that mean?
母さんというものがありながらいっつもそこで変なゲームばかりやってるじゃないか。
それは2次元と3次元はあくまで別物ですし。
お
That
前
is not real.
2次元も3次元も関係ないって前に言ってなかったか？
オカリン、そういうことここで言う？裏切るなんてひどいよ。
I never been on Daru's side when it came to his hobby, so.
ご本。とにかくそういうことなら今日は何をしていたのか父さんに言いなさい。
何って。
やましいことがないなら言えるはずだよ。
Suzuha glanced at me this sudden
人を
resignation.
探していたんだ。
There you go. Now we see her. We hear her say it.
それってやっぱ男？
違うって言ってるじゃないか。小さな女の子。うん、今はもう私より年上になっちゃってるか。
That was a strange way to put it. I glanced over at Daru, who looked back at me.
実はさ、私が乗ってきたタイムマシンにはもう一人乗っていたんだ。
なんだって。
すずはそんなん初耳なんだけど。
Yes,
今
6
まで
months
話して
later.
なかったからね。
She was looking down at her feet. I could see she regretted bringing it
その
up.
同乗者は何者だ。今どうしてるんだ。
どうしているかはわからない。
わからないって。
はぐれちゃったんだよね。1998年にここ秋葉原で。
So it wasn't just Suzuha who came from the future. Just in time for the meaning of that to sink in.
でもなんでそんなことになったん？
私とその子は IBN5100 を探すためにはじめ1975年に飛んだ。理由はおじさんならわかるよね。
I nodded silently.
なんとか無事に IBN5100 を手に入れた私たちは今度は1998年に飛んだ。2000年問題を回避するミッションのためにね。
2000年問題。
That was one of the big events at the end of the last century, along with the Nostradamus prophecy. But in the end, after all the fuss made by the media and pundits, nothing really happened. Was that because John Titor had come from the future to fix it? If that was the case, then wow.
その1998年にトラブルが起きてその子とはぐれちゃったんだ。
それではぐれたままタイムマシンで跳躍したのか。
仕方なかったんだ。あの子は自分からタイムマシンを飛び出してしまったし、それに
She must have remembered something because she swallowed her words with a bitter expression.
もちろん私だって探した。燃料の残量が許す限り何度も細かいタイムトラベルを繰り返してあの子の姿を探し回った。でも
In the end, she never managed to find her.
大体の事情は分かったけどさ、どうして今までそんな大事なことを黙ってたん？
あの子を見失ったのは私の落ち度だ。ちゃんと自分で責任を取りたかったんだ。
水臭いな。
Dao's words were soft.
僕たち親子だろ。困った時は頼ってくれてもいいのだぜ。
父さん、
その子を探せばいいんだろ。だったら僕らも手伝うな、オカリン。
なって俺もか。
当たり前だろ。別に未来を変えてくれっつってるわけじゃないんだし、それくらいやってくれてもいいっしょ。
He has a point.
まあ
To be honest, after refusing all her requests to save the world, I was feeling a little guilty. I'd like to help her if I could, but will I know what she'd do after she found her?
で、その子の名前と年齢は？ちなみに可愛い女の子だよね。男とか言ったら父さん許さないぞ。
女だよ。
オッケー。名前と3サイズもやろう。
3サイズなんて知らないよ。だって別れた時のあの子は10歳だったんだから。
Yeah, you weirdo.
幼女か。
No, a
じゃあ
child
今は
dog.
22歳になってるはずだな。
Oh my gosh, this dude.
名前プリーズ。
名前はカガリ。椎名カガリって言うんだ。
シーナ
The name is an unusual one. A girl who was part of Dara's group in the future who had the name Sheena.
鈴葉、まさかその子って。
I was gonna say, yeah. She
彼
was...
女の母親の名前は椎名真由里。カガリは真由姉さんの子供なんだ。
Mayuri's daughter. Of course, it was possible that Mayuri would choose to have a child in the future, but the fact that I never even thought about it made the shock that much worse. Let me see. If she had a daughter, she must have had a partner. And that partner couldn't be me, because I died in 2025. Look at Okabe speculating. Wait a second. She was 10 in 2036. That she would have been born in 2026. I'd have to learn more, but if I died in 2025, wasn't it just possible? Maybe? Barely? That it could be me? That just couldn't be! Just like Suza had appeared before Daru, she's gonna appear before me? That'd be so funny. Who was the dad? I couldn't ask.
あれちょい待ち。シーナってことは、名字はそのままってことだよね。ってことは。
Yeah,
カガリは繊細孤児だよ。
yeah, I was gonna say.
身寄りがなかった彼女を
It's a good
真由姉さ
observation.
んが引き取って育てたんだ。
Yeah.
ああ、なんかそれ、まゆしらしいかも。
Shout out my Yuri, man. It's so good. I realized that I was relieved in more ways than one, and I hated myself for it a little bit. Even if she did marry someone else in the future, as long as that made her happy, it was for the best.
私は
He
真由
was
姉さんから
jealous. He was
カガリを
jealous.
頼むって言われたんだ。だからこんなことになっちゃいけなかった。あの子はいつだって真由姉さんにべったりだったし、この時代には知り合いなんているはずもないから、きっとずっと心細い思いをしてるはずなんだ。
その子はどうしてはぐれてしまったんだ。さっきトラブルと言ったが。
If she come to a new era in a time machine at 10 years old, Suza would have been the only person she could rely on. There you go. There was no way she leave Suza and run off
私
on
に
her
もわ
own.
からない。ただ過去に飛んでからのカガリは精神的にかなり不安定だった。
That made sense, come to think of it. A young girl, just 10 years old, was suddenly taken to a world where she knew no one. Of course she'd be scared.
その子の写真か何かはある？
あ、うん。
She showed me a tattered picture with two girls in it. One was an adult woman. Couldn't see her face, but maybe it was Mayuri 20 years from now. I mean, like, picture doesn't really leave much to the imagination. Like, dresses the same way, has a similar hat, has a similar haircut, has a similar skin tone. Like, that's Mayuri. That's 100% Mayuri. Even if you didn't know, like, even if you couldn't tell, that just looks like her. There you go. What, yeah. Hiding behind her was another girl. It was that Kagura Sheena.
この子が22歳に成長してるわけか。
Now she's 22 years
い
old.
まいち想像がつかないな。
That is, if she was still alive. It's a scary thing to think of that, but he is right. Even if Japan was a safe, peaceful country, it would be hard for a young girl to get by on her own. If she was lucky, someone might take her in and give her to an orphanage. If she wasn't, Suzelle was probably well aware of that possibility, so I didn't bring it up. I was gonna say, yeah, there's no point in harping on it.
なおかりん、協力してくれよ。
真由里の養女なんだろう。だったら見つけてやりたいさ。でも 鈴葉はいいのか？俺が手伝っても。
I felt sure that Suzuha was disgusted with me. I had a chance to save the world and I'd given up. Would she want help from a person like that?
おじさんさえ良ければ人手は大いに越したことはないと思うから。
そうか。
そうか。
だったら手を貸すよ。
Of course, I didn't think this would make up for that.
ありがとう。マユシーの幼女がどうしたの？
Why would a time to come back? Mayushi desu. Everyone turned around at the sudden voice.
てるー。おかり、本当に待っててくれたんだね。
How sweet. Mayuri!
どうしたの？
The moment I saw her, I finally relaxed.
よかった。マユリ。
I took her small hand in mine and felt the warmth. She was alive.
おかりん？
すまない。
別に嫌じゃないから
Yes,
大
and
丈夫。
she loved it. And I
お姉
loved
さん、
it. I'd do it
いつから
again.
いたの？今来たばっかりだよ。
I was careless. I was so focused on what Suzuha was saying, I didn't see Mayuri entering the room.
ねえねえ、マユシーの幼女がなんとかって聞こえたけど、何の話をしてたのかな？
それはその
Crap. Mayuri knew that Suzuha was from the future, but telling her about her future daughter would be going too far. There you go. I need to change the subject.
マユリはまだまだ幼い。つまり幼女だと言っていたんだよ。な。
あ、そうそう。マユシは幼女かわいい。
童顔だってよく言われるんだ。ユキさんみたいに大人っぽくなりたいんだけどね。
Oh, Yuki's like
食べる量だと立
22.
派に大人かもしれないな。
えへへ。
That wasn't a compliment, Mayuri. that was enough to distract her, evidently.
そうだ。食べ物といえば、オカリンはクリスマスに何か食べたいものある？
クリスマス？パーティーのことか。別に何でもいいぞ。食べられるものならな。
As long as it's food.
クリスマスパーティーか。すずさんは初めて？私たちの時代はパーティーなんてやってる余裕なかったからね。でも一度だけ父さんがどこからか美味しいチキンを調達してきてくれたことがあったっけ。それをマヨネーさんが調理するって言って父さんが止めて。
So even in the future, Suzuha was looking at Mayuri as if she was remembering the past, or future, as the case might be.
いつもよりほんの少しだけごちそうってだけだったけど、それでも嬉しかったな。
In the future, when World War III was going on, there probably wasn't much time for celebration. But even then, Mayuri was still Mayuri, trying her best to make everyone happy.
ダルくんは何か欲しいものある？
僕は可愛いおにゃの子がサンタコスしてくれればそれだけでお腹いっぱいだお。
料理はどれくらいいるかな。
Just completely
ユキ
ignore
さ
it.
んと
Honestly,
一緒
it's
に用
perfectly
意する
fair.
予定なんだけどね。そうだ、ルカ君やベリスちゃんにも手伝ってもらおうかな。
Yeah, you know, people who actually know how to cook. Mary's head was full of thoughts about the Christmas party, it seemed.
オカリンは誰かパーティーに呼びたい人いる？
Mao.
俺は別に。
Almost said no, but then I remembered someone. Maho Hiyasha. She said Christmas is something you always spend with your family, but
オカリン？
いや、特には。
no. Oh, really? Wow. Okay. I guess not then. Alright. The bomb. There we go. How is she going to spend her Christmas? I'm really so surprised that he didn't. What's it? Wow. Okay. I guess in this route he doesn't invite Maho. I forgot about that. Or maybe it's just more he doesn't invite her now. I don't know. Water. Remember, folks, always drink water. Always drink water. Your body's made up of 70% of it, so it's a little more. It doesn't hurt. So yeah, I think I've been going for like an hour now. Surprisingly. Maho. There you go. The Khamy lane mechanism. It was after I walked my Yuri home. The second I was alone, I started thinking about this afternoon. If that was really a world line change, then what was the cause? The most likely possibility was that someone had succeeded in developing something like the phone wave. We were able to make one. There was no reason someone else couldn't. Another possibility was, no, there's no use in thinking about it. Yeah, I've been going for an hour. That's chill. That's chill. I was just mistaken. And even if the world line did change, we weren't the cause. We didn't have anything to do with it anymore. Whenever I was alone, I always ended up thinking about things that wouldn't do me any good. What was that? It was so quick. Oh, no, it's just that. Okay. I took the phone out of my pocket and tapped the icon. Shh. Okabe.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Curse's expression was self-satisfied as ever.
こんな時間にどうかした？
That's like you know,
Yeah.
like you sleep, but
なんとなく話がしたくなって。迷惑だったか？
別に迷惑ってことはないわ。あんたと話すことは私のためにもなるんだし。
She was an AI after all. She wouldn't be bothered no matter that's I guess what I'm saying. Like you
先
sleep.
輩とは会ってきたのよね。
Maho.
あ
何の話をしたの？
何って
You know, things.
お前とのやりとりに
stuff.
ついて報告をしただけだが。
それだけ？どこかへ誘ったりは？
まだそんなこと言ってるのか？ヒアジョーさんに言ってみろ。また怒られるぞ。
だってようやく先輩にも運が向いてきたかもしれないんだもの。せっかくのチャンスを掴んでもらいたいでしょ。
Curse seemed insistent on getting me and Maho together. Sheesh. Doesn't she have other things to think about? No. Like literally nothing. Things to think about. Does she have anything to say about the other matter?
なあ、ちょっと相談なんだが、消息不明になった人を探すにはどうすればいい？
ずいぶんと唐突ね。
身近でそんな話があったんだよ。でも 自分たちじゃどうすればいいのかわからなくてな。
詳しく教えて。
She leaned forward, suddenly interested. She really was a curious
それ
girl.
が
言えないことなの？
俺だけの問題じゃないからな。
それで相談に乗ってくれって言われても無理がある。
だよな。一般論でいいんだ。意見を聞かせてくれるだけで。
そうね。一番いいのは警察に行くことね。
That was the obviously correct answer.
あとは更新所に頼むとか、過去の新聞記事を当たるとか。
Ooh, definitions
でも
galore.
そういうことはもうやってるか。
Okay, tips. Private investigator, a company that investigates corporations or individuals, most commonly used to do background checks on prospective marriage partners or clients, or to see if a spouse is cheating.
どうかな。
どうかなって。まさかそんなこともやらずに探そうとしてるの？
俺も今日聞かされたばかりなんだ。後で確認してみる。
The Kaguri's from the future. It says that didn't have any personal documents in this era either, which meant that it was unlikely she'd gone to anybody in the
ア
government.
メリカなんかではダウジング屋通して人探しをやるなんて人もいるよな。
まさかあんな何の科学的根拠もないものを信じるとでも？
いや、言ってみただけだ。
よかった。もしそうだとでも言ったら二度と話なんかしないところだったわ。
She really was just like curious.
ありがとう。参考になったよ。
見つかることを祈ってるわ。
なあ、それと
何？
いや、なんでもない。
何よ、気になるでしょ。
本当になんでもないんだ。それじゃあ今日はこれで。
Oh, why was I just about to say that? Okay, I was just about to tell her that. I was just about to tell her about my Yuri's Christmas party to see if she wanted to go. Amadeus Currency was just an AI. She only existed inside of the computer. I guess I was just starting to see her as real. Scary.
どう
Spooky and scary.
父さん、何か手がかりはあった？
いや、残念ながらこっちは何にも。
そう。
The search for my Yuri's future daughter, Kagura Shino, is taking longer than it's only been a day. Like,
一つ聞くが、警察には行ったのか？
うん。一応言ったんだけどね。でも、捜索願いなんかは出してない。
I was right. In order to submit a missing persons report, you needed to have an ID to prove who you were. That's why Susan hadn't done it. And also, I later learned that the only people who could submit a search request were people like family and significant others who were close to the missing family, to the missing person, excuse me.
僕の方でも昨日軽く警察のデータベースにハッキングをかけてみたんだけど、それっぽい情報は出てこんかったよ。
だろうな。
つうことはオカリも見てみたん？
ダルのように内部情報を見たわけじゃないがな。
There was a database of missing persons on the police homepage, but it didn't go back very far and it didn't have a lot of information. All it had was age, sex, clothes, and sometimes possessions they were carrying. Since we knew nothing about Kagura Shino, we had basically nothing to go
で
on.
もさ、一見平和に思えるこの世界でも、身元不明者や行方不明者ってたくさんいるんだね。
I thought the same thing. Each year, over 100 unidentified bodies were found in Tokyo alone. If you expanded, excuse me, if you expanded that to cover all of Japan, then oh wow, I can't talk. If you expanded that to cover all of Japan, that went back 12 years, you have a pretty big number. And that the number of missing persons is far greater. Each year, almost 100,000 people were missing. Let's see. And 1 out of every 5 was in their teens. And of course, most of them just ran away from home, and 70% were found within a week after a report was filed. But if 70% of them were found in the first week, that meant that that 30% of them weren't. In fact, 5% of them were never found at all, and no one ever knew if they were alive or dead. Perhaps Kagurishina was caught up in an accident or killed. Or perhaps... I sat up and got off the sofa.
オカリン、どっか行くん？
もうちょっと調べてみようと思ってな。
School would be on break soon anyway, and it wasn't like I had anything to do. And while I hadn't been very interested at first, at some point I became really interested in the whereabouts of Kagurishina. And more than anything, it's because of my
ありが
area.
とうオカリンおじさん。
別にこれくらい大したことじゃない。
ううんそれでもありがとう。
As long as I was looking for Kaguri, Suzuha probably wasn't going to bother me about the future. That's so crazy, Okabe. That's so crazy. There you go. As long as I was, having her bring up the same thing every time we met was hard for me. Oh no, I gotta go to the future. If I could get her focused on something else, that would make things easier. Okabe's kind of scummy, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Or so I thought, but finding clues wasn't easy. Just in case I'd gone to the National Diet Library, and looked at articles on missing persons and crimes in 1998. The year she gotten separated from Suzuha, but I had no luck. Suzuha said she'd been looking for Kaguri every few years on her way to our time, so I knew it wouldn't be easy. But I couldn't help but feel a little tired and disappointed. He's talking to Amadeus a lot in this route.
どうかした？
お、
何？
いや、
Brody. I called Kurisu without even realizing it somehow.
ねえ、昨日よりさらに疲れてるみたいだけど、大丈夫？
そう見えるか。
声のトーンがいつもより低い。結膜に多少の充血も見られる。もしかして昨日言ってた件を調べてたの？
Your tones dropped. Huh. I guess because she's an AI, I guess we'll be able to tell, but I told Amadeus Kurisu what I heard from Suzuha and Daru, and what I found at the National Diet Library.
バカね。そんなことなら私に言ってくれれば簡単にことは済んだのに。
どういうことだ？
She has a point. She does have access to a lot of this
私
stuff.
ならネットワークに接続してオンライン上の情報をリサーチすることができるでしょ。
あ、そうか。
Soka. I'd forgotten. She was an AI that existed inside a computer. So something like that would be easy for her.
なんなら少しやってみましょうか。
すぐにできるのか？
それほど時間はかからない。
それじゃあ頼む。
わかった。少しだけ待ってて。
Amadeus Kurisu fell silent on the screen and didn't move for a moment. Maybe 30 seconds later.
もう結果が出たのか？
ネットワーク上で検索してみたけど、1998年以降、椎名かがりという名の女性が何らかの事件や事故に巻き込まれたという情報は得られなかった。同姓同名の人物は3名ほど検出。ただ、年齢を考慮すると その人物があんたの探している人である可能性は限りなく低い。ご要望ならその人物のデータを後でメールで送るけど。
いや、いい。
When I stopped to think about it, even Suzuha would have been able to do a search for her name on the internet. And when Kurisu was saying was almost certainly right. The Kurisu Makise I known was always right. She was.
それじゃあ私にできることは以上かな。あとはあんたたちにしかできないやり方で探すしかないわね。
俺たちにしかできないやり方？
その人物がいなくなった場所の近辺で地道に情報を集めるの。究極的にアナログな方法だけどね。
やっぱりそうなるか。
Suzuha had been doing that forever. So I couldn't imagine I'd find anything new. Well, you are a different person though, so maybe. But if that was my only option, then that was excuse me, wow. Good lord, I can't talk. But if that was my only option, then that was what I had to do. There you go.
じゃなかった。オカリン。
Ah, Ferris. I spun around when I heard a voice behind
や
me.
っぱりオカリンだにゃ。こんなところで何してるんだにゃ。
You know,
Iris.
chilling, meandering.
それに
こんにちは。
And Lukaku, look at that, look at you.
Nanda.
Who's this for?
珍しい組み合わせだな。
ついさっきそこで会ったのにゃ。そしたらルカニャンが荷物いっぱい持ってたからそこまで手伝ってあげることにしたのにゃ。
I took a closer look and saw that Lukaku was holding bags in both his hands. There you go. If you added in what Ferris was carrying, it was quite a lot. He was trying to carry all this alone. Lukaku?
ねえちょっと。
今何か聞こえませんでしたか？
ちょっと待って。
いや、これは別に何でも。
I quickly hit the smart home behind my back.
ちょっと聞いてるの？ねえ。また聞こえたにゃ。もしかしてさっきオカリンが話していたのはそれかにゃ？
いや、これは。
It shouldn't matter if they found out. But I still felt guilty, so I closed the Amadeus app.
電話中だったのにゃ。
ああ、ちょっと知り合いに相談事をな。
相談ですか？そういうことだったんだにゃ。後ろから見たらオカリンが一人でブツブツつぶやいているように見えたからちょっと心配したにゃ。
Did I look like she needed to worry about me? Well, if she saw me talking to my smartphone in a place like this, I guess I could understand
でも
that.
水臭いにゃ。何か困ったことがあるならフェイリスたちにも話してくれればいいのにゃ。そうです。僕じゃお役に立てないかもしれないですけど、でもお話くらいなら。
ありがとう。でも大したことじゃ。
No, wait a second. Both Ferris and Lukaku had lived in Akihabara since they were born. And both of their families held important positions here. Maybe asking them wouldn't be such a bad idea after all.
実は今人を探してるんだが。
人ですか？
I told them that I was looking for a girl who had gone missing 12 years ago in Akihabara. There you go. Of course, I didn't tell them that she was from the future or that she was my youngest daughter.
その子がどうして行方をくらませたのか激しく疑問だにゃ。
すまないが、そのあたりの事情は話せないんだ。
にゃ
そういう話に心当たりはないかだけでも聞いてもらえれば助かるんだが。
分かったにゃ。とりあえずフェイリスの方は黒木に聞いてみるにゃ。
Kuroki was her family butler. I met him several times. Yep, so have I. In the same way that Ferris naturally looked like a maid, Kuroki just naturally looked like a butler because he was a butler. So nothing else really to that. Come to think of it, it was rather strange for a maid to have a butler for a
あと
servant.
メイクインニャンニャンのご主人様たちにもそれとなく聞いてみるにゃ。僕の方もお父さんとそれから氏子の方たちにも聞いてみます。
悪いな。そうしてくれると助かる。
Both Kuroki and Lukaku's dad knew a lot of people, and they had far better chance of finding someone than we did. Yeah, because you guys are just teenagers. Hope they could at least find some small
それ
clue.
はそうと、ルカ子。その山ほどの荷物はどうしたんだ？
あ、これは昨日お父さんのお客さんが来るっていうお話はしましたよね。実はそのお客さんの一人がしばらくうちに滞在することになって、それで必要なものを買い揃えていたそうにゃ。
It was a guess that Lukaku's father. They must be fairly old. And from what I heard yesterday, they probably had some unique
それ
hobbies.
は大変だな。
いえ、僕もちょっと楽しいですし。
Fun. Lukaku shared the same blood as his dad, so perhaps he had some latent interest in
あ
those
まりのめり
hobbies.
込みすぎないようにするんだぞ。
I gave him that warning and went to leave. Well, I tried to leave, but
よいしょ。ルカニャン、大丈夫かにゃ？フラフラしてるにゃ。大丈夫です。僕だってこれくらい。
うん。
よかったらお茶でも飲んでいってください。
いや、遠慮しておくよ。お客さんだっているんだろ？
そうですけど。
I couldn't bear to see him struggle like that, so I carried his bags to the shrine with me. Varys had gone back to her cafe.
それにしても、この荷物、いくらなんでも一人で運ぶには無理があるだろ
う。僕だって最近は少し力がついてきたんですよ。今日も岡部さんに言われた素振りだって。
Sword exercises. That was the training I'd given him when he told me he felt too much like a girl.
精神残魔流か。
Okabe, he did have a positive effect in his community. National Dai Library. I did not read this. Okay, Japan's only national library. It consists of the main building in Tokyo, the Kansai branch of Kyoto, and several other branches throughout the country. The main building on 1st Avenue in Nagata, Shiota Ward is often called the Dai Library. All works published in Japan are kept here, and while normal citizens are allowed to view them, they do not allow books to be checked out. Seishin Sama School. A style of swordsmanship taught by Hoin Kyoma to Lukaku, or to Rushibara Lukaku, the descendant of the ancient protectors of Akihabara. It also functions to strengthen the mind and quell the evil flames that lurk within Urushibara. Only the cursed blade Samadera could bring out this true power. One of its secret techniques is the Type 33 Cherry Blossom Rage. At least that's what Okabe said when he made it up. It was so stupid I could even... Wow, that's... Jeez, man. You don't have to be so bitter. Good lord. Thinking back, I was amazed he put up with that nonsense.
Luka, 帰ったのかい?
It's his old portrait. I can hear his dad's voice from their home behind the shrine office.
はい、今行きます。
それじゃあ、俺はこれで。
はい、ありがとうございました、岡部さん。
Lukaku bowed deeply as I left Yanabayashi Shrine. On my way home, I thought about what the two of them had said.
でも水臭いにゃ。何か困ったことがあるならフェイリスたちにも話してくれればいいのにゃ。
Yeah, because to be fair,
そうです。 僕じゃお役に立てないかもしれないですけど、でもお話くらいなら。
As much as they are Mayuri's friends, they also consider him their friend as well. Okabe is an important part of their friendship. That's always why they're like, oh, come hang out with us. Why you're never in Akihabara anymore? And it's like, you would think like, oh, that's weird. But like, they're like Mayuri's age. But Mayuri's only 16. And if anything, these two are older than Mayuri by a year. They're more closer to Okabe's age than they are Mayuri, funnily enough. It's just that Okabe's in college. I didn't realize until after they'd spoken. I'd gone to Amadeus Kurisu before I'd gone to anyone else. I brought up the app and started talking with her before I even realized it. She wasn't the real Kurisu. But that voice, the way she acted. All of it reminded me of Kurisu. All of it brought back emotions I tried to hide. There was an incoming call on my phone. So today is the 16th, so there shouldn't be any marks. I didn't answer any of the other calls that came that day either. Oh shoot. Margola, I was going to answer. But I guess I didn't have a choice because it didn't automatically stop the skip or the auto. Okay, there's an incoming call on my phone. It was from Amadeus Kurisu. She was probably there to complain about me hanging up on her earlier. That would be just like Amadeus Kurisu. But I didn't answer the phone. I didn't answer any other of the other calls that came that day either. The United States of America, California.
まったく、なんで私がこんなリポートしなきゃいけないのよ。
The reporter Jessica Edmond had rushed to the scene at her director's orders, and she was pissed off about it. She dreamed of Hollywood and even been in a movie once. So how'd she end up reporting on this crap?
何でもいいから仕事をよこせと言ったのはお前だろう。
確かに言ったけど、だからってこんな事件。
落ちぶれた生意気な女優崩れを使ってやろうってんだ。感謝されたって文句言われる筋合いなんざない。
なんですって？
それともここでも仕事をほっぽり出して逃げ出すか？何もかも中途半端で。そんなことだとガキの親権も取られちまうぞ。
Well, that's personal. Goodness. She hated herself for not being able to say anything. Her stupid pride got in the way. She dreamed of being a Hollywood actress, but all she got was a small part in a B movie, and never gone anywhere after that. Then she had a kid and came back home. Still, she loved her kid. She wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. No matter what she had to do. Tizzy, no matter what she had to do.
現場は？
その茂みの奥だ。
She went into the bushes and there she saw it. Several bodies, all brutally mutilated. But it was all dogs. No, it's easy, not dogs, chimps.
国内において行方不明になっている研究者は今年に入ってから5名。そのうちの3名についてはアーティフィシャルインテリジェンスの研究を行っていたとされており、その背後には人工知能技術の発展に反対する原理的宗教主義者たちによる活動も影響しているのではないかとみて、当局ではさらに捜査を続けている模様です。続きましては現場からのリポートです。ジェシカ？
こちら現場のジェシカ・エドモンドです。今朝早くこちらの現場で発見された遺体に関して当初人間のものと思われておりましたが、その後の警察の調べによりますと、それがチンパンジーやオランウータンといった複数の猿の死体であることが分かりました。ただしこれらの遺体について一部脳および頭部が欠損しているものもあるとのことで、警察では猟奇的事件として地域住民への警戒を訴えており、
Really, that was it. Okay, I guess it's just a red
ああ、
herring.
岡部。お前、この後授業は？
いや、今日はもう終わりだよ。
そっか。じゃ、どっかで飯でも食ってく？
どうせまたカレーだろ。キッチン東海か。
Let's see. Kitchen Tokai, a long-established Western-style restaurant in Jinsho. There you go. It offers delicious food at a reasonable price. So at lunchtime, it's filled with salarymen and students. The curry is especially popular.
昨日ちょい臨時収入あったから、今日は豪勢にモンディーかな。
Morning. Plunk D. Plunk D. Shut up, Plunk D. Shut up, Plunk D. I love it. I love it so much. Curry restaurant in Jinbo. Yeah, okay. It's famous for its full-bodied European-style curry. But it's a little outside of the price range of a college student. Comes with endless fries. Okay, of course.
俺はやめておくよ。今月ちょっとピンチだし。
そっか。じゃ、また今度な。
あ。
I really started to get used to this. Before the summer, I felt really out of place at school, but now it didn't seem so bad. Well, yeah, I wonder. Back then, I thought I was special, but now I knew better. As long as you make the effort to fit in, you can find a place to belong. Yeah, no, he is right though. People can change. No, but let me just pause for a second because I'm just over here meandering. Oh, goodness. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. I'm over here playing Bloons Tower Defense while playing this game, bro. I'm just... Golly, my brain is cooked. Alright. There you go. Let me just continue. As long as you make the effort to fit in, you can find a place to belong. People can change. No, they change whether they want to or not. It was too late now, but I learned something about myself. It really was too late.
さてと、それじゃあ帰って。ん？
It's a new background location. Really wish I could use it, but it's not. Sighted for the exit, I realized I recognized one of the people passing through my field of vision. That was...
レース記念教授?
My college went out of its way to attract exchange students, so it wasn't unusual to see foreigners. But still, let's get in killed.
いない。
This here. I hurried after him, but the person I just saw, was already gone. Was I just mistaken? Come to think of it, the professor being here wouldn't be strange. He might have come to meet with my advisor Izaki. Izaki had wanted to get to know
今
him.
度教授に会ったら聞いてみよ
I glanced in the direction he'd gone and then left the school for Akihabara. When I came outside of the turnstile, the radio building was right in front of me like always. The time machine Suza had used to come here was probably still on the roof. Even if people didn't go up there often, it was still amazing that no one had found it after so long. Of course, that was all thanks to Paris. She rented out the roof of the building and sealed it off. Of course, I hadn't come here to look at the time machine. I got messages from Lukaku and Ferris after I left the lab last night. Both of them had asked, and neither of them were able to get any useful information from me. It made sense when I had thought about it. If there was a missing persons report, somebody might remember the police doing something, but there wasn't. The Ferris had said something interesting.
でもおさげの幽霊が現れるって話を聞いたにゃ。
おさげの幽霊。
そうにゃ。なんでもその幽霊は何年間に一度現れて小さな女の子を見なかったかと探し回っているそうなのにゃ。何年経ってもその姿が変わらないから最近になっておさげの幽霊だって言われてるにゃ。
That was definitely Suzuha. What would she do if she knew people thought she was a ghost? I think she'd enjoy it. I think she really would enjoy it. I held back a laugh as I tried to imagine it, and then headed for the radio building. My goal, of course, was to find information on Kagure. This is where she'd vanished, which meant this is where I was most likely to find clues. I went around to each store inside the radio building and asked, but didn't learn anything. Of course, Suzuha would have done the same thing, so I didn't expect much. That didn't mean I could just stop. The part shops, the commercial facilities, even the back alleys. Even after all that, I went around all of Akihabara asking people about Kagure. But I didn't learn anything useful. Some people told me the same story about the ghosts in Twin Tails, but no one knew anything about Kagure. Yep, same thing. If the little girl was kidnapped or got into an accident, somebody would witness that. But going missing was a different thing. If Kagure Shino vanished off of her own free will, all anyone would see was a 10-year-old girl walking down the street, which granted, yeah, that wouldn't be really like anything crazy. Nobody will remember that 10 years later. Yeah, he's right, 100%. And I try to think again if there was a better way. If the police and government weren't of any use, that left someone connected to the other. There's one person who knows. As soon as I said it out loud, I joked the idea from my mind. That was stupid. Something that Obi would have thought of. I given that stuff up. I ran all over Akihabara looking for something once before. Wasn't looking for a person then, but a thing. The IBM 5100. 6 months ago now, off a world line, I had gone looking for the same thing that Suzuha had searched for in the past. Back then, that's right, Kurisu was with me. When Kurisu and I had learned that there was an IBM 5100 in Lukaku's storeroom, we worked together to carry the heavy thing.
前に進まないでよ。私が後ろ歩きしなくちゃいけないでしょ。横に動きなさい。
Shut up. Question. The F you'll be on. Thinking back, all she ever did was complain. Oh man. She was so strong-willed, bratty, and hated to lose, but she was still so lonely. Once again, I'd taken my phone out of my pocket without realizing it. Amadeus. Because I hadn't picked up any of her calls yesterday, she hadn't called at all today. I stared at the Amadeus icon for a moment, and I put my phone back in my pocket. When I got back to the lab, I saw that Daru was completely exhausted. There was no need to even ask. It was obvious he hadn't found a single clue. Suzuha had been doing this for over half a year, so her face didn't betray her emotions anymore. Daru didn't even bother asking how it went. You could probably tell from the look on my face.
考えてみたらさ、これまでだって鈴葉がそれなりに探してたわけでさ、それを僕ら素人が今さらまた蒸し返したところで新しい発見なんてあるわけないんだよな。
Daru said what I've been thinking, but trying not to say.
手伝ってくれてありがとう。これ以上無理はしなくていい。捜索は私だけで続行するよ。
Suzuha evidently had no intention of giving up.
いや、ちょっと待って鈴葉。 僕が言いたいのはさ、
父さんたちに無理させるわけにもいかないから。かがりの件は私の責任なんだし。
バカ言うなよ。子供の責任は親の責任だろ、上皇。
父さん。
ね、今のどう？かなりパパっぽかったと思うんだけど、なんならパパ大好きって言って抱きついてくれてもいいのだぜ。
Yeah, way to ruin it. Way to ruin it immediately. Watching these two always gave me a strange feeling. For a while after they first met, they were complete strangers, and now they were like father and child. And age-wise, they were exactly the same. Maybe I could understand how Suzuha was feeling, but I had no idea what Dara was going
とに
through.
かく僕が言いたいのは、ただむやみやたらに探したところでダメだろってこと。
じゃあどうしろと言うんだ？
餅は餅屋って言うでしょ。こういうのはやっぱ専門家に頼むのが一番だと思うんだよね。
専門家？
こういうのはある程度裏の世界の情報にも精通してる人に頼むのが一番だろ、上皇。
Dara had the same idea. Or at least to come up with the same idea I had. My head hurt.
心当たりがあるの？
ち、父さんを甘く見ないでほしいな。僕はオタだけど顔は広いのだぜ。
It's so funny, man. This heart was so different from the other one. Completely forgot how different, because I knew it was going to be different, but not this much. That's crazy.
横幅も広いけどな。
That's mean.
茶化すなっつーの。
っていうか本気で言ってるのか？本気で。
ちょっと連絡取ってみる。
Sorry.
っていうか本気で言ってるのか？本気で裏の世界の人間とやらにつながりがあると？
Before Suzuha could respond, he took out his phone and started typing a message to someone. Was he serious? And was text messaging the preferred way to get in touch with the criminal underworld?
どう思う？おじさん。
実際にそういう人物が本当にいるのなら頼んでみてもいいとは思うが。
In fairness, being a hacker was a pretty underworld sort of occupation too. Oh, there you go. If I knew someone like him, it was quite possible that the person he said he knew really existed.
よし、送信と。あとは返信が来れば。
Yeah,
Ooh.
do you know who it is?
もう返事が来たの？
Because I know who it is.
今からそっちに向かいますって。
That's
随
another
分と
giveaway.
話が早い相手だな。
遅いよりはいいんじゃね？
That was true. Dara was sending another message. He was probably telling her where we were. Okay. Now all we had to do was wait for her arrival. And then the phone rang. Holy cock.
もしもし、涼香子か？
岡部さん、すみません。今大丈夫ですか？
おう、どうした？
実は僕岡部さんに相談したいことがあって。
相談？
今からお会いしてもらえないでしょうか？
今から電話じゃ言いにくいことなのか？
はい、少し。
Right now. Would it be okay to leave this to Dara and Suzuha?
悪い。これから客が来ることになっているんだ。
I was interested to see what kind of person Dara's friend was.
そうですか。
その後からじゃダメか？
その後は僕も用事があって。
Why not just go over to his
そうか。
house?
それじゃあ。
Just as Lukaku was about to say something. heard sharp footsteps coming up the stairs. Okabe, you really should go see what he wants to tell you. But whatever. And then a knock.
悪いルカ子、お客が来たようだ。後で連絡を。
And then I stopped. The person who opened the door, it was
こいつまた
Kiryu Moeka. It was, yep, I just said it. I hadn't seen her since the ATF seminar, so back in November.
どうしたんですか、岡部さん。お茶どうぞ。
Moeka was silent with her head tilted slightly forward. Seeing her caused the door ache within me, like my heart was being squeezed dry. Why was she here with Daru? I had a number of doubts in
ど
my
うした
mind.
んオカリン。
いや
Moeka tilted her head a bit to the side and I quickly averted my eyes. There was no connection between Sword and us anymore, so she wasn't going to kill my Aaron. She wasn't going to kill my Aaron. She wasn't going to kill my Aaron. She wasn't going to kill her. I said it to myself over and over again and finally started to relax.
おじさん、顔色悪いよ。大丈夫？
気にしないでくれ。それよりもダル、説明してくれ。
ああ、この人は桐生氏。ヘンプロのライターさんだよ。
I thought it was Arclight. Oh, no, not again. Not again, not again, not again.
桐生萌香です。
Tips. Editing production. Editing producers do special projects and editing work for a variety of publishing companies. She silently handed me her business card, which had the name of a company called Arc Rewrite on it. Yep, Arc Rewrite. There you go. And an editing production company located in Kiyobara. It primarily does articles for computer magazines.
なあダル、お前はどうしてこの人と知り合いに？
前にさ、桐生氏の担当してる雑誌で秋葉関係の都市伝説を扱った特集があったんだよね。その時に僕のバイトのこと取材したいって申し出があってさ。僕のバイトってほら、あんま大きな声で言えないやつっしょ。だから取材に関しては丁重にお断りしたんだけど、ただ僕って普段から足がつかないようにかなり注意してるんだよね。なのに桐生氏はその僕にたどり着いた。それが気になって、で会ってみたらこの通り、すげえ美人さんだったわけだ。都市伝説を追う美人ライターとか燃えざるを得ないだろう、上皇。
And that's how they met. Which, granted, makes sense. Suzuha was frowning as she saw how Daru acted around Monika. She didn't say anything, but I could tell she was thinking that he'd be better off directing his attentions toward her mom. Monika, for her part, seemed completely uninterested in Daru. She was wearing her usual poker face and fiddling with her phone. She was still using a Japanese feature phone instead of a smartphone, huh?
まあ専門ってわけじゃないけど、秋葉についてはかなり詳しいみたいだし、結構裏の方の事情も知ってるっぽいから頼んでみるのもありかなって。
人探し、そう聞いた。
うん、実はね、12年前に秋葉でいなくなった女の子を探してほしいんだお。
Daru told Monika the basic story. She was dead silent the whole time, but she typed his words into her phone with incredible speed. I said nothing and just watched. She was what's around her. She probably still was. Was it okay to trust her? It was just a coincidence that I run into her here. I knew that in my head, but my heart just refused to accept it. Here in the Beta World line, we never encountered Moeka or Kiryu Moeka before. Of course we had. I chose in the Beta World line so that we wouldn't. Even though the cost was Kiryu or Makise Kirisu's life.
つまりその椎名篝という人を探せばいいの。
そういうこと。どうかな。
やってみてもいい。
マジ？
でも見つかるかはわからない。
もちろん、その場合はしょうがないよ。
Normally, Moeka and I would never have run into each other like this, but she's here, in your home. This is just insane. Of course, we might have crossed paths in Akihabara. We almost ran into each other when she come to interview Dr. Leskinen and Maho at the ATF seminar. Where is it? But I convinced myself that we were never going to meet each other directly. Or so he thought. Was this fate? Where she and I needed to cross paths at some point. If that was the case, maybe it was better not to try to avoid her, but to watch her to see what she did. As I listened to Daru talk to her, that was what I started to think.
じゃあ報酬は成功報酬で、その他の必要経費はこっちで持つってことで OK？
問題ない。
オカリンも鈴葉もそれでいい？
私は手伝ってもらえるなら文句はない。
俺も構わない。
じゃあ契約成立ってことで一つ。
Moeka nodded slightly, then asked us for the information about Kagri that might be a clue. Stuff like the clothes she was wearing when she disappeared, what she looked like. After that, she left. All the tension suddenly drained from my body as I sank into the sofa.
おじさん、本当に大丈夫？
大丈夫だ。少し緊張しただけだから。
There you go. It was a little late, but I took some anxiety meds out of my pocket and swallowed them.
おじさん、さっきの桐生萌香って人のこと知ってたんだね。
え？
It's not hard to tell, Okabe. She could tell.
マジで？オカリンいつの間に？
どうしてそう思ったんだ？
見ていればわかるよ。
I guess you have to be pretty sharp to survive on the
Yeah.
battlefield.
知らない人だ。
アルファ世界線では知ってた。
Got it twice.
わかった。これ以上は聞かないけど、私なりに警戒はしておくよ。
それでいい。今はな。
一体何のこと？
緊張したっていうことさ。
わかるわ。桐生氏は美人で巨乳でスタイル抜群でメガネ属性まで持ってるもんな。しょうがない。
そうだな。
Sure. Whatever, man. Sure. Like, she was part of my life now. I would just have to use her as best as I could. Maybe it was because she was gone now, or maybe it was because of the anxiety mess, but I calmed down enough to start thinking that way. Of course, who knew if I'd feel the same way the next time I saw her face to face? Maho. The Japanese office of the Global Brain Science Comprehensive Research Organization in Wako City, Saitama. Good lord. Maho Yaja tried her best to hold back a yawn, but in the end she'd given up and opened her mouth so wide it covered well over half her face. One reason was that she'd gotten caught up in talking to Amadeus Kurisu last night, and only ended the conversation I was late into the night. At first, they've been discussing the research and experiments she'd been doing, but at some point she'd gotten sidetracked into talking about Okabe Rintaro. Evidently, he'd been ignoring calls from Amadeus Kurisu for the last few days. Kurisu was much madder at him than she was when he'd ignored her the first 8 times. It was the first sign of femininity that she'd ever seen from Makise Kurisu. It's cute enough that Maho couldn't help but take the chance to get back at her for all the teasing she always does. She ended up staying up a lot later than she intended. And since she was too energized to sleep by that point, she gotten out Kurisu's own laptop. She started to fiddle with it to see if there was some way to crack the password, and the next thing we knew, it was morning.
パスワードね。
Maho.
やっぱりプロにでも頼んだ方がいいのかしら。
何の話だい？
She suddenly heard a voice behind her and almost jumped out of her chair.
そんなに驚くことないじゃないか。
教授、戻ってたんですか？
ついさっきね。
He raised up his hands and showed her some plastic bags from a nearby convenience store. He left to go get lunch just 10 minutes ago, and she was sure he wouldn't be back for a while. It's 10 minutes ago.
それにしても日本のコンビニは食べ物の種類がいっぱいで本当に素晴らしいね。毎日違う弁当を食べても1週間もすればすぐに新しい弁当が出る。しかも店によっても味が違うから毎日コンビニでも飽きないよ。
コンビニのお弁当ばかり食べていると栄養偏りますよ。
ははは。それでもアメリカの食事に比べればかなりヘルシーだよ。
I guess so. He has a
第
point.
一食事についてのお説教だけは魔法には言われたくないね。
He was right. Nutrition wasn't an important consideration for Maha. In fact, she ate mostly cereal and meal replacement shakes, which made her diet very unhealthy.
ところで何をプロに頼むって？
ああ、あれはそのなんでもないです。なんでも。
It wouldn't bother her if Luskin had found out, but for some reason she suddenly decided not to tell him. Good.
そうかい？私でできることなら力になるよ。
ありがとうございます。その時はお願いします。
She stood up and headed for the door.
魔法、どこへ行くんだい？
気分転換も兼ねて秋葉原に行こうかと。
気分転換で行くにしてはずいぶん遠いね。ウィンターローに会いに行くと素直に言えば許可しよう。
そんなんじゃ。
違うのかい？
ついでに会いに行ってもいいですけど。
Okabe had a laboratory and a Kia bar. Amadeus Kurisu had told her that last night. She said something about how he'd been avoiding it for a long time and only recently started going there again. Mal was a little interested in it too.
言っときますけど違いますからね。そういうのじゃないですからね。
私はまだ何も言ってないよ。
というわけで今日は研究は休みます。
ウィンターローによろしく。
First, Amadeus Kurisu, another professor. Why'd they keep trying to make everything about romance?
っていうか、ああいうのもセクハラよね、今の世の中じゃ。
For one thing, she wasn't going to Okabe's side just to visit him. She wanted to see him again and see if she could get any hints about the password. He had said he didn't know, but he'd probably be able to come up with more than she could on her own. That was what she thought after seeing how he interacted with Amadeus. You could call it a woman's intuition. I mean, just more that he knows something. He knows something. She was thinking about that when she changed trains and got off at Akihabara station. She felt like someone was watching her and spun around. It was a weekday in the station, but the station was crowded. She looked around at all the people, but none of them seemed to be paying her much attention.
気のせい。
She whispered again to no one in particular as she started to walk again. Amadeus Kurisu had told her the location of the Future Gadget Lab. She wasn't that familiar with the layout of Akihabara, but if she needed to, she could ask her for directions. But what if she came in unannounced and Okabe wasn't there? That bothered her a little, but she decided she could just leave if that happened. I guess so, yeah. I mean, you could just call him. Her eyes lingered on the junk parts lined in the bins at the shops as she walked when... Yeah. She felt someone looking at her again. When she turned around, she still didn't see anyone. She started walking again, then went around a corner into an alley. And then she was sure of it. Footsteps. She could hear them behind her. Of course, that was nothing special. She would often be out walking at night and hear footsteps behind her. She speeded up her pace only to see an irritated man walk past her a moment later. This time, for some reason, she was sure it wasn't that. She decided to try walking faster and found the footsteps went faster too. When she went slower, so did they. Whenever she saw a scene like this in a movie, she imagined that she just kicked the guy in the face. Now that it was actually happening, she was too scared to turn around. She fumbled for the phone in her pocket. The idea of calling the police never occurred to her. The only thing she thought of was the name of the man she was trying to meet. She picked it out of her call history and pressed the button with trembling fingers. Moshi mosh. The footsteps overlapped with the sound of the ringing.
Okabe-san, 助けて!
The footsteps were almost on top of her. Just when she couldn't take it anymore and was about to start running, Moshi mosh.
Moshi moshi.
She heard a voice coming from the other side of the phone.
もしもし、Okabe-san、私、冷や城です。今、あなたのラボのすぐ近くまで。
She didn't get to say another word. By the time she realized that someone had grabbed her from behind, the phone had already slipped from her hands. I asked Kirimoka as I took the paper she offered me silently. She contacted Daru just 10 minutes ago and told him she was on her way to the lab. As she arrived at right at the time she said she would. She must have been very close when she contacted him. What was she going to do if no one was here? Evidently, it was a report about her investigation thus far. The stack of papers was shaking a little in her hands. I still felt some unease when Moeka was in my hands. There you go. Maybe it was just because of the anxiety meds I was taking right after she said she was coming, but I was still doing a lot better than yesterday.
どう?
Oh,
おじさん。
the CG. Look at golly, wow, she really goodness. There you go. Sorry, just had to put chapstick on because my lips were chapped.
やっぱりそう簡単に見つかるもんじゃないな。
そう。
She must have been expecting something at least a little. There was an obvious tone of disappointment in her voice.
かがり、どこで何してるんだろう。
With no way to answer her, I just silently flipped through the pages of the report.
どうしたんオカリン？なんか有力な手がかりでもあったん？
いや、そういうわけじゃないんだが。
見せて。
I handed her a report over to Suzanne without complaint. Put into the report and just hit me with my finger.
調査の中で一つ興味深い事実が浮かび上がった。この 1,2 ヶ月の間で椎名かがりという名の女性を探している人物が私たち以外にも存在するらしいということ。どういうこと？読んだままの通り。
Which meant my phone started ringing before I could finish the thought. Okay, just making sure. Normally I just ignore her and call her back later, but
悪い、ちょっといいか。
for some reason I had to answer. Good. Good. That's what it felt like.
もしもし。
もしもし岡部さん、私ヒア城です。
She sounded on the verge of panic, and my voice naturally rose to match hers.
どうしたヒアジョーさん？
今あなたのラボのすぐ近くまで。
Immediately afterward, I heard what sounded like a struggle and something hitting something else.
ヒアジョーさんどうした？
And then there was only silence.
オカリン？何かあったん？
From the tone of her voice, it was obviously something had happened.
知り合いが誰かに襲われてる。
マジ？知り合いって誰？
But I didn't stay to answer his question. I grabbed the nearest thing that could serve as a weapon and ran out of the lab. Was it? Which one was it? She said she was close to the lab. If she was coming from the station and had chosen a route that not many people would go down, she was probably... Oh wow. The alley directly in front of the lab. I saw someone there. They were tall and slender. I could see a tiny silhouette struggling behind them. That was... I knew it. The only girl I knew that size was Maho. Yeah, so if you remember, she has mismatched socks. She's using mismatched slippers. That's adorable. Oh my gosh, they make her look like such a gremlin. But now, yeah, if you remember who this is, we're gonna see her a lot more now. Someone had grabbed her and she was trying to desperately escape.
ヒアジョーさん！
The person who was holding her turned in surprise that it was the lightsaber one. It wasn't the other one I was thinking. It was only then that I realized there was a woman and that she wasn't Japanese.
さん。
おい！ヒアジョーさんを離せ！
Did she not understand me? No, but she should have been able to guess what I was getting
その子を離せ！
I tried to strike a threatening pose with the weapon in my hand. I finally realized what I brought was the Siloom saber. Still, it would serve as a glove. I stuck. This is such a
もう
dork.
一度言うぞ。その子を！
Oh,
違うの岡部さん。
Oh, Okabe. Okabe. Oh my gosh. It wasn't like what? Yep. Judy Reyes. Golly, she's tall. I gotta check. I want to see how tall she is. Steins. Kate. Wiki. Maho. Let's see. How tall do they say she is? She's 5'10". She's just as tall as Okabe. Golly. I'm sorry, Miss Reyes. I didn't know you were like that. Oh my goodness. The woman let go of Maho and smiled. She walked towards me with her arms wide
Are you
open.
Maho's boyfriend?
はあちょ
Before I could ask what was going on, she wrapped her arms around my back and giving me a firm hug.
だから違うって言ってるのに。
I had no idea what the hell was going on, but the two soft objects pressed into my chest kept me from moving. Okay, man. Alright.
それじゃあこの人はヒアジョさんの知り合いなのか？
ごめんなさい。私が早とちりしたせいで。
I'm Judy. Judy Reyes. Pleasure meeting you, Mr. Okabe.
It's so funny how, like, she's just legit a foot taller than Maho. Like, an actual foot. It's insane. The woman named Judy Reyes offered me her hand, her broad smile like the sun itself.
Nice to meet you.
日本語でいいわよ。
え、教授って日本語喋れたんですか？
ええ、実はね。
知らなかった。でもどうして？
女も私くらいの年になるといろいろあるのよ。
Her mischievous wink looked pretty good on her.
それじゃあ改めて。ジュディ・レイエスよ。よろしくね。
I returned her handshake.
岡部倫太郎です。
レイエス教授は今度日本で開かれる AI 関係の学会に出席するために来日したんですって。
教授っていうことはビクトル・コンドリア大学の
サイコフィシオロジーを研究してるわ。
サイコフィ
精神生理学のことよ。つまり脳の活動によってもたらされる心の働きとか心の病気なんかについての研究をされているの。そういう意味では私たちの研究よりもずっと人の役に立つ研究をされていると言っていいかもしれないわね。
そんなことないわ。あなたたちのアマデウスだってこれからの発展次第では十分に役に立つ技術になるわよ。
そう言っていただけると嬉しいです。
In short, Dr. Reyes had happened to see Maho on the streets of Akihabara and had decided to surprise her by grabbing her from behind.
でもレイエス教授も人が悪いですよ。駅からつけてくるなんて。
つける？魔法？私が？
ええ、後ろをついてきてましたよね、ずっと。
そんなことしてないわ。私はさっきそこのショップでたまたま魔法を見つけたからちょっと驚かそうと思っただけよ。
え
Maho had only just relaxed when Dr. Reyes' answer drained her face of its color.
ヒアジョさんつけられていたのか？
ええ、確かにそう感じたんだけど。
レイエス教授誰か怪しい人物を見かけたりは？
Dr. Reyes denied it with a unique shrug that foreigners always do. I looked back over at the alley, but of course I didn't see anyone.
じゃあ私の勘違いだったのかしら。
きっとそうだわ。だって日本は世界一治安のいい国でしょ。
Was it?
真帆はこの後どうするの？
私は
Ray seemed to sense something in Maho's silence.
なるほど、そういうこと。それじゃあ私は行くわね。リンタルもそのうちバイ。なるほど、そういうこと。それじゃあ私は行くわね。リンタルもそのうちゆっくり話しましょう。
That shirt is a little too what's it called for her. Not like it's too small on her. Like it's actually too small. It goes above her what's it called? Which is crazy because like, you know, like people can dress however they want. I'm not judging her for what she wears. It's just more that she's wearing that during the winter. Like it's December. There you go. She gave me a meaningful wink as she left. The station was in the opposite direction. Should I have said something? I said something. I had a strange sense that she was feeling me out, but it seemed like a waste of time to resist. Sure, whatever, man, whatever she wants.
彼女がヒアジョーさんだ。ほら、前にセミナーで会ったって話したことがあっただろ。
Adorable.
お騒がせしてごめんなさい。
I ended up taking Maho back to a lab where everyone was waiting for my return. Suza had actually gone out once to look for me, but evidently by that time I was already gone.
ま、でも何事もなくてよかった。
After I gave an introduction and explanation, everyone let out a sigh of relief. Maho seemed to want to ask a lot of questions about the lab, but I had something I had to finish first.
すまん。どこまで話したんだったか。
他にもカガリタンを探してる人間がいるって話。
そう、それだ。それは本当なんですか、桐生さん。
本当。
I looked back down at Mocha's report, where she'd written all the details. She even hired a private investigator to check it out. This meant that it was all probably true.
"それが鈴葉という可能性はないんだろうか。
それは私も考えた。でも探していたのは男の人。中には外国人も。
Foreigners? Why would they be looking for Kakuri?
こっちでかがりと関わりがあるのは私だけだ。それなのに一体誰が。
Could it be CERN? Maybe CERN realized that she was from the future and had gone looking for her. If that were the case, Mocha would have to know about it. No. The Rounders were all given their orders individually, so it makes sense that she didn't know what the others were up to.
椎名かがりはこっちに来てもう12年にもなる。その間、知り合いができたとしてもおかしいことじゃないな。
つうか、むしろ誰かの世話にならないと生きていけないっしょ。
つまりこの報告からわかるのは、椎名かがりを知る何者かがここ最近何らかの理由から彼女を探しているということと、少なくとも最近まで椎名かがりは生きていたっていうことだ。
あ、そっか。
Unless they could travel through time like Suzuha, they were looking for her. That meant they'd known where she was until she disappeared. If someone had started looking for her in the last few months, that meant she'd been alive until then. There was nothing else to be learned from Mocha's report.
引き続き調査をお願いできますか?
If people were looking for Kaguri no Kiyobara, that meant she was that meant she might still be here. Monica took her payment for the work she'd done so far and left the lab. Daru had paid the bill. Seeing that when his future daughter was at stake, he was willing to spend the money.
人を探しているの?
Moha had been looking around the lab with interest.
ああ、ちょっと知人をな。
There you go. No. There you go. Hey Ocarine, what time are you getting home today? Should be that night. I won't be coming home tonight. Something going on? I met your mom and she asked me to cook tonight. Huh? She's gonna go to the meeting for the shopping street and she wasn't sure what to do for dinner. So maybe she said that she'd do the cooking and she said that was okay. Are you sure? You're busy too, aren't you, Mayuri? You have to do it, Yeah, it's fine. I'll make something good. Come home soon. I see. Really? Seriously? I'll be waiting. Danger. Insane. It worried me that some of the people looking for Kaguri Shino were Japanese. Even outside of CERN, there were people all over the world who would jump at the chance to learn more about the time machine. If they somehow learned that Kaguri was from the future, that could mean she was caught up in some kind of trouble.
それじゃオカリン、そろそろ冷や上司のことを詳しく。
詳しくって言われても、前に説明したぞ。
She was taught the lesson as assistant, and both she and the professor have been very good to me. I was helping with their work a little. I told him all this before.
冷や上司がこのラボのメンバーに加わってくれる的な頂点会はありますか?
That's so funny. That's so funny you mentioned that. In an anime, novel, or game, a game, anime, or novel, or etc., it refers to something that happens which completely ignores the plot and foreshadowing that occurred up to that point. The super development instead takes the story in a completely new direction, similar to the phrase Deus Ex Machina. These completely unexpected plot developments leave viewers bewildered and struggling to keep up.
ないだろう。
じゃあせめて魔法担と呼んでもいいですか? つうか呼ぶ!
Actually, I'm just gonna.
魔法担?
あれ? 名前間違ってた?
そうじゃなくて、その変な呼び方に引っかかったの。
でも魔法担は魔法担って感じじゃん。なあオカリン。
俺に振るな。
とにかくその呼び方はやめて。
だが断る。
He never changes, does he?
それでヒヤジョーさん、今日はどうしてラボに? 俺、ここのことは君に話したかな?
アマデウスに教えてもらったわ。今日は本来は話したいことがあったのだけれど、まあいいわ。噂のラボを見ることができたし、それになんだかあなたたちも大変みたいだから。
ひょっとしてあいつ怒ってたか?
ええ、とても怒ってたわ。連絡しても出ないって。
That's exactly what I expected, yeah.
何それ何の話?
別に浮いた話じゃないからいちいち反応するなって。
岡部さん、やっぱり辛いの? だったらテスターやめてもらっても。
あ、いや、そういうわけじゃないんだ。ただ
I hated how I was starting to feel dependent on her.
また気が向いた時にでも話してあげて。あの子も寂しがってるわ。
わかった。
The word lonely made my heart ache a little, but even so, I still didn't talk to Curtis through that. Wow. Dang, Okabe, that's cold. Several days had passed since Mooka had given her report. I checked last night and evidently there was nothing new to say. She had her deadlines for her magazine, she said, and could have spent a lot of time on it. That other group of people who was searching for Kagura Shina concerned me, but I couldn't ask her to prioritize it over her own work.
マユシーはとっても残念なのです。
ん？もしかしてクリスマスパーティーの話か？
楓さんと吹雪ちゃん用ができちゃったって。フェリスちゃんはお仕事で、ナエちゃんも店長さんと過ごすことになってて。
Dang, so it's just not happening.
ユキさんと遊びに行くんだって。
Wow, it's just not
結構な
happening.
ことじゃないか。
Heard that Suza had gone through a lot of work to set that up. She started complaining that Dari wasn't making his intentions clear with Yuki. From Suza's perspective, her own existence was at stake. Even if it was already fated to happen, something still might interrupt it. More than anything, she probably wanted to see her mom and dad getting along in this peaceful world. It's nothing crazy to ask, you know? Something came out of this that would probably make it feel
マイ
better.
リもクリスマスは家で過ごした方がいいんじゃないのか？この前おじさんがケーキを予約してたぞ。
お父さんに会ったの？
家の近くでばったりな。マユリをびっくりさせるために大きいのを予約するんだって張り切ってた。
そっか。じゃあその方がいいね。
あ、言っとくが今のは聞かなかったことにしてくれ。せっかくのおじさんのサプライズだからな。
わかったよ。でもオカリンはどうするの？クリスマス。
特に予定はないかな。うちはもともとそういうことする家でもないし。
Excuse me, sorry. I'm eating, but the guys at school were having a men-only drinking party, but I hadn't been invited. I kept telling them she wasn't, but they insisted on thinking that Mayuri was my girlfriend. Some of them had it out for me because of that.
確かサンタさんにプレゼントが欲しいって言ったら、朝枕元にお野菜が置いてあったんだよね。
どう見ても前の日の売れ残りのな。クレームをつけたらうちはキリスト教じゃねえって逆ギレされた。
Honestly, I'm amazed I actually grew up alright.
クリスマスが終わったら
There you go. Well, if you could call how I ended up alright. Yeah, I'd say you didn't grow up alright.
そしたらもうお正月。1年あっという間だね。
そうだな。
I didn't flown by for me at all. I'd gone through the same span of days again and again. For me, the year had been unimaginably long, which to be fair, it was a lot longer than anybody else's year.
ねえオカリン、クリスマスパーティーはできないけど、お正月パーティーをするのはどうかな。みんなで初詣に行って、それからおせち料理を食べて、今年もよろしくって言って。
ああ、いいんじゃないか。
だよねだよね。じゃあ後でみんなに聞いてみるね。
Mary's so clever, man. Mary stood up to go.
さてマユシーはこれからお買い物に行ってきます。
買い物？
吹雪ちゃん用のコスでね、急に小物が必要になっちゃって。
そうか。気をつけて行ってこいよ。
I love.
そうだオカリン、ルカ君がね、オカリンに何か相談があるみたいなの。
There you go. So wait, so she stops talking. I love that in this route, he's spending more time at the lab. Because, you know, in the other route, they made sure to specify, like, oh yeah, no, Okabe isn't coming around as often as he usually would. But here on this route, because he's looking for Kaguri, he's spending almost all the time here again. Which, granted, it's not how it used to be, where it's like, oh yeah, he's spending time here because it's just where he lives. He's spending time here because he has to. But even then, I still love that. I still love the fact that he's just here. Because we barely see the lab in the other route. It's insane, man. It's crazy.
Oh.
Oh, excuse me. There you go. Oh, that's right. Lukaku had called me like 8 days ago. After that, Monica had come and so much had happened that I'd forgotten. Known Lukaku since I told him I'd call him back and he'd probably been waiting for me this whole time. Excuse me, he'd probably been waiting for me this whole
こっ
time.
ちから連絡を取ってみる。
お願いね。じゃあ行ってきまーす。
Mary put on her coat, waved, and went out the door. Alright, she got in touch with Lukaku. Lukaku.
ルカ子のやつ出ないな。
Oh well, I'd have to send him a rhyme. I typed in my message and sent it. Oh? And then I waited a while for a response to come back. There was no sign of him even reading the rhyme. Was he busy with something? For a moment I thought of going to the shrine to see him, but if he was busy I didn't want to bother him. He'd contact me when he had time, or he'd contact me when he had time. Just when I was thinking about that I heard footsteps coming up the stairs outside the lab. It didn't sound like Daru. Daru's footsteps were a lot heavier.
どうぞ。
こんにちは。
Oh, well. He's
ル
here.
カ子。
Okay.
よかった。岡部さん、ここにいてくれて。
It was Lukaku, the boy I had just been trying to get a hold
す
of.
まない。この前の件すっかり忘れてたんだ。それでさっき電話したんだが。
あ、本当だ。ごめんなさい。僕の方こそ気づかなくて。
He looked guilty as if he'd done something wrong.
いや、別にいいよ。それより寒いだろ。入ってくれ。
あ、はい。
But he hesitated, seemingly distracted by something behind him.
岡部さん、その相談の件なんですけど、実はその前に会ってもらいたい人がいて連れてきたんですけど、いいですか？
My blicky.
会ってもらいたい人？
Lukaku moved slightly to the side, and a girl appeared behind him.
はじめまして。
What? Impossible. The girl there was...
クリス。
よろしくお願いします。
So... If you're playing this game for the first time, I can see why Okabe would say that. But for people watching this, right? If you haven't played this game yet and this is your first time experiencing it, because of the way that I played the game, you would know this is Kaguri. You would know because of the fact of her, like, well, because of the fact that her voice actor's the same. Even if her hair is different, you've seen a picture of Kaguri when she was younger, you've seen the flashbacks, you've seen all of that. And even though the Yuki twist was there, you still would know this is Kaguri. But Okabe doesn't. Because you're meant to play this route first.
どうぞ。
So he's crazy for
あり
thinking
が
that's
とうご
courtesy.
ざいます。
Over a cup of tea I poured out of the plastic bottle, but she thanked me in a voice that was almost impossible to hear. For my part, it was all I could do to keep the hand holding the cup from trembling. I took another look at the girl sitting across from me. There you go. Yeah. Yep, but it's not her. Not like Lukaku. The girl in front of me looked just like Makise Kurisu. Her brown hair, I always thought it was red. I don't know, man. With Makise's, I could see it being brown, but Kaguru's hair is red. I don't know. Her brown hair, her slightly slanted eyes, her unconcerned expression. Right now, there was no sign of strong-willed nature, but other than that, they were identical. Well, except for the height as well and the eyes, but you know. When I first seen her, my heart felt like it was going to stop. But on closer inspection, some parts we could see, like the size of her breasts. Yes, of course, Okabe, because that's what we noticed. Was she about our age? She looked older than Lukaku. I think Lukaku had a sister. Could this be her? No. She had a quiet air about her that seemed similar to Lukaku. But I thought I remembered hearing that Lukaku's sister was actually quite cheerful. Oh, that's sweet. I didn't know that.
Okabe-san?
いや、それでルカ子は。
ルカ子？
ああ、失礼。俺はそう呼んでるんです。その女の子みたいだから。
I just realized that it was a pretty rude nickname, but it was a habit now, and there was no change.
そうなんですね。
Okabe, that's rude as hell. What do you mean there's no changing it? Her expression softened just a little. She really did look just like her. It really did look just like her. I took a shallow breath and forced myself to relax.
で、ルカ子、この人は？
その前に話したことがありましたよね。お父さんのお客さんが泊まってるって。
ああ、聞いたけど、それじゃもしかして彼女が？はい。
That was a surprise.
ルカ子の父親の知り合いというから、てっきりもっと年配の人かと思っていた。
違うんです。正確に言うと、お父さんの知人が連れてこられた方で。
おお。
Huh? Is that a typo? Okay, yeah, no, it is a typo. My dad knows who brought her. There you go. So this wasn't the person who was talking about Harumi. That made me feel a lot better.
それで相談というのはこの人についてなんですけ
ど。Excuse me, sorry.
その前に名前を教えてもらってもいいかな。いつまでもこの人じゃ話しにくいだろ。
Her face clouded. Did I say something wrong?
実は相談というのはそのことなんです。この人が誰なのかを知るにはどうしたらいいでしょうか。
It took a moment before I understood what she
待ってく
said.
れ、ルカ子。それはどういう？
記憶喪失なんだそうです。
記憶喪失？
はい。
それじゃあ名前も？
はい。
どこの誰かも？
はい。
どうして？
わかりません。
Of course not. She knew she wouldn't have amnesia.
でもどうして俺に？
岡部さんなら記憶を取り戻すいい方法を知っているんじゃないかと思って。ほら、岡部さんよく人間の脳とか記憶とかすごく難しい話をたくさんしてたから。何でもいいんです。私が自分のことを取り戻せる方法があれば。
待ってくれ。確かにそういう話はしていたが、それはただ興味があるだけで専門的なことは何も。
I knew how the brain worked and how it was laid out. I knew what amnesia was. But bringing back someone's memories is a different matter. Even the latest medical technology would be useless. Unless, of course, you had your memories stored on a system like Amadeus.
そうですか。
The girl was visibly disappointed.
だったら何か身元を調べることはできないでしょうか。カナさん、本当に辛そうで。
カナさん？
仮の名前だからカナとルカさんのお父さんが名前がないと不便だからって。
ずいぶん安直だな。
Was that okay? But to be
いつ
fair,
までも名乗る名前でないのだからそれくらいの方がいいと。
couldn't tell if that was deep or not.
岡部さん、なんとかならないでしょうか。せめて名前だけでもわかれば。
なんとか力になってはやりたいが、やっぱり興信所なんかに頼んだ方がいいんじゃないのか。
興信所、探偵さんみたいなものですか？
ああ、でもそれだって何か手がかりのようなものがないと厳しいだろう。財布とかカバンとか持ってなかったのか？
そういったものは何も。
何も？別に大したものじゃなくてもいい。一つくらいありそうなものだけど。
一つだけ。ただこれが手がかりになるのかどうかは。
She slowly took out a handkerchief as if it was something that was very important to her. Whatever was inside must have been one thing she was carrying.
見せてもらっても。
The one thing she was carrying, excuse me.
はい。あれ、もしかしてお客さんかな。
Almost at the same exact time, Kana opened the handkerchief as heard my eerie soft voice from the front hall. Evidently, she was back from shopping. Suzuha was behind her too. That was a combination that they run into each other on the way.
まゆりちゃん。ああ、ルカ君。ルカ兄さん、そちらの人は？うちに泊まっているお客さんで。
Kana bowed her head a little. For some reason, Mayuri gave a happy little sigh as she looked at the handkerchief in Kana's hands.
それ、ウーパですよね。
There you go. There you go. if you didn't think it was her before, that's another thing right there. Inside of the white handkerchief was a faded Upa keychain.
好きなんですか？マユシーもね、ウーパのこと大好きなのです。
もしかして手がかりというのはそれか？
It was an old Upa keychain. Was that really a clue?
でもこのウーパいつ頃のものかな。ずいぶん古いみたいだけど。
It really did, come to think of it. Upa was a character from the Ren and Conqueror anime. Upa products only been around for a few years now, but the one I was looking at was very old.
これ、もともとは緑色だったんじゃないかな。だってこれ、森の妖精さんバージョンだもん。
森の妖精さん？
この前やってた映画に出てきたんだ。ほら、マユシーも持ってるんだけど、ここのところのデザインがちょっとだけ違うの。
Couldn't see any difference at all.
このキーホルダーね、なかなか売ってなくてずーっと探してたんだ。そしたらこの前ルカ君が見つけて買ってきてくれたのね。 たまたまお店を覗いたら売ってたから。
しかし妙だな。この前の映画のグッズなら発売してすぐのはずだ。こんなに古くは。
There you go. Only then did I realize how pale Kana's face was.
大丈夫ですか、カナさん。
具合が悪いのか？
大丈夫。
No, bro, everybody who says this in this game is lying like crazy. I'm fine, I'm fine. No, you're not. No, you're not. Kana tried to stand up and almost fell forward. Lukaku quickly grabs her.
そうだ。何か冷たいものを。
I wanted to get a bottle of water out of the fridge when I noticed that Kana... There you go. Stop this real quick. I want to get a bottle of water out of the fridge when I noticed that Suzuha was staring at Kana in shock.
Suzuha?
そう。
Go. Sorry, let me lock in. Hold on. There you go. Strangely, Kana was the only one who was shaking a little. Suzuha was too.
嘘。それ、そのウーパー。
どうしたんだ、鈴葉？
私は知ってる。そのウーパー、それ。
おい、鈴葉。
I gotta stop doing this. I really gotta stop doing this. Alright. Kana staggered a few steps towards Suzuha, and then a few steps more. It couldn't be. No, there was just no way. But...
もしかして。かがり。
Mm-hmm. There you go. Nani? What?
お前はかがり？椎名かがりなのか？
Kana's eyes went wide. And she collapsed. Yep. And she slowly collapsed to the floor. A stray sheep. The orbital eclipse. There you go. Let's see. How are we looking on time right now? 3 hours? 3 hours? Yeah, basically 3 hours. Shoot, honestly, I'd say this is a good time to stop. I'd say this is a good time to stop, yeah. What's it called? Wow, I'm honestly surprised that this stream got more likes than the last one. Last one I was dialed in. This stream I was over here playing Bloons Tower Defense the whole time. Granted, I don't want it to seem like I wasn't interested in the game. I was actually really interested. Even though I knew what was gonna happen, I was still really locked in as to what was going on. So, but you know, we just got to a new chapter. We've been streaming for 3 hours. I think it's a good time to stop for now. You know, just get some progress going. We are getting closer to a choice that's gonna divert us to a different ending. So we're probably going to get to that choice next stream. We're not gonna finish that ending next stream though. That ending's decently long, so we'll see. But yeah, so let me what's it called? So thank you all for watching as always. 3 hour stream. We got a consistently long, like decently long streams for like the past like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 streams. Like the last one that I did was that was like normal and length was like almost a month ago, back in September 24th. Like that one was like almost 2 hours, barely under 2 hours. The one before that one was an hour and 45. The one before that one was 2 hours, and the one before that was an hour and 30. So like we've been getting some decently long streams this past like month, honestly. So trying to give you guys some food, But yeah, so I am gonna end it here though. Thank y'all for watching as always. Sorry about me not being too locked in, but something about balloons that took over. I don't know what it was. gotta show you guys my progress on that one day, but yeah, so until then, hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll try to get a stream out for you guys, another one maybe, who knows. But I am going to start working on the next video. This one should hopefully be shorter, like probably like 7 to 10 minutes, maybe 12, who knows, because it's not long, but it's one I've been wanting to make for a while now, so I'm really excited for you guys to see that. But until then, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next stream or video, whichever one. Again, Suzume video out if you want to go watch that. Change the thumbnail on it. Now it looks like an actual thumbnail. So yeah, I hope you guys like that. And until then, until next time.